What is going on, everybody? My name is The Samp, joined as always by my man, the master of the forest, the master of the fuck it. You know what? The master of all forest, woodlands, everything you name it. That's open spaces. You're the king, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
I give
Thank
you
I like it,
Professor Bear. What's happening, brother?
man. It just been honestly, it's been a good week. Been a good week.
Yeah, no, I can't complain. I mean, ups and downs, ebbs and flows, things that are concerning, things that are an issue, usually self-created at this stage in life, in my opinion. Insurance, car payments, cell phone bills, etc., all man-made, all self-created. Mother Nature hasn't given me many issues, but I always look at life like this, Bear. It's like one of those drama shows, like for 15 episodes, shit just keeps going down.
Oh yeah.
And then episode 16, everything's cool,
Yep.
but then shit starts to blow up by the end of episode 16 again. I'm kind of in episode 16 and I've been there for about a month. I'm just waiting for 17 to start, but I'm hoping it doesn't. It's just kind of like, that innate feeling that you're waiting for that shoe to drop and some shit to happen.
Oh yeah. I
Right?
get it.
Days of our
I,
lives and, you know,
I
like
I always look at it too, like you. It's like, man, it's good. It's good. Okay, something about to happen. It's coming. It's coming. But even though I know it's coming, I'm not too worried about it. I know I'm gonna deal with it, get past it, and just get back to it. So
sorry, man, there's a bit
definitely,
of a slob here and me can't even drink fake coffee. Um Inside joke, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Bear, before we get started, again, just to let everybody know what we are now. Okay, we're not behind the stage show. We're not talking about numbers, ratings. We're not talking about any of that. Okay, well, there's a million shows out there that do it. There's a million shows out there that have their market. I think our market is, hey, what did we just see last night? Let's focus on that. Now, full disclosure, the fourth wall's coming down. We know what we're watching, ladies and gentlemen. So you can leave your snickering, you can leave all your off-colored remarks. Yes, we know what we watch. Yes, we understand it. It's no different than watching Grey's Anatomy. It's no different than watching you name it. Okay, Young and the Restless, it is what it is. We are here to cover the shows. We are here to cover the storylines and how they actually are working. And if these characters, and this is probably the deepest we go in terms of outside of kayfabe, is this actually working? Does this actually make sense? That's our criticisms. But that being said, Professor Bear, as I take a breath, last week we forgot to mention something that we should have probably covered here that's happening outside of the ring. And I want to refer to one, Conan, mainstay in WCW, one of the maybe the founding fathers of AAA to a certain extent. I mean, he was there from the get go. He was the one who got Ray
yeah,
there, etc., etc. In WWE for a cup of coffee, they put him under the mask for a while. I remember.
yes, yes.
Um, so he had that little stay there, but I think he solidified himself when he did his speech introduction for Ray. People who didn't know Conan got to know him at that point. A
Yeah,
WCW, TNA, you name it, he's been around. Unfortunately, Conan's been dealing with a lot of health issues, okay? And he's now had his other leg amputated. Now, the reason I bring this up is our wishes are with him, but we talk so much crap in the past about TKO and WWE and things like that. Well, you know what, guys? We're even keel dudes here. When they do something good, we'll talk about it. And we missed it last week, so I apologize. Shout out to TKO and shout out to WWE for covering all the expenses and looking after him.
exactly. It's one of those things, especially I think this ties into what we were talking about off camera as old as we get older, is things that we kind of don't recognize until we hit a certain age. And with Conan is a lot older than he looks. Conan
Mm,
has taken care of himself tremendously. And as a lot of people well, may and may not know, Conan has done a lot for the Mexican market for the US to bring it into the US.
Hmm.
He's a legend, and I would dare anyone to argue that fact with me. And to to go back and look at his body of work has just been incredible. Now, for WWE TKO, again, for everything that we as fans talk about them, all their disappointments and stuff, they do go and do the right thing by people. I mean, wrestling is one thing, but when it's life and being able to take care of people and do the right thing by them, we are always going to shout them out and praise them for doing that because
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine already stressing on losing a part of my limb and then worrying about how I'm gonna cover the cost, how I'm gonna do this and that. And again, it's such a great thing to see companies still try to do the right thing by athletes when they can.
No, and completely agreed. And you know what? I think here in Canada we take it for granted because all our healthcare is covered. It's we have free healthcare in Canada. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to your local congressman and person to see how you guys can get on board with that. The reason I only bring that up for one reason, I watched Freedom 250 last night, the UFC offering. And the amount of
Mm.
fireworks they blew off, I swear that could have probably covered a lot of healthcare.
And it's weird. I had no idea it was coming on, had no idea about it, didn't give a damn about it, especially and where I didn't give a damn about it was not for the fighters. It's just where it was happening and why it was happening. And we and this is my first and last thing about any politics.
Sure, sure.
Our priorities in the United States are one of the most fucked up things in the world. And it's crazy. We're so blessed in so many ways, but we do such dumb things to not take care of our veterans, our old people, the kids, and that's
No,
all I'm
hey,
gonna make.
look, man. First off, ladies and gentlemen, I am the resident potty mouth. I am the resident make people blush with the comments that I say, and I really don't care who's in the room. So that's why everyone blushes from grandma right down to my mama. Okay. That's who I am. So for Bear to say fuck is powerful, man. I know that this really something very important to you because you're not the cusser. I'm the cusser of the crew. Hell, I probably am the number one cusser in WSN.
Well, and I guess if it's really a secret, I do cuss. I just use it. I generally try to watch where and around what audience I use certain language. But as you said, this is very important to me,
Yeah.
and it's crazy that in this day and age where so many people can use help, we're at this point
Well, hey,
in
for
the
what it's
world.
worth, Meta is giving all the blind veterans glasses. For every blind veteran that's out there is now eligible for a pair of Meta glasses. Hey, if it works, that's beautiful. If it's something that can help
Hey,
people, I mean,
it's a start. I take it.
like I get what they do and everything, but when you hear giving a blind man glasses, it's almost kind of like, what the fuck? How does that make sense?
Right.
Right. But yeah, no, Bear, maybe you need to teach me because like I said, I don't have a switch. Unfortunately, I just say it like it is, and it gets me in trouble, it gets me laughs. But a lot of
Well,
times people are just kind of looking like, how could he say that?
something that I learned from my mom a long time ago. and I still to this day keep it in my head, but it's just the way my thinking. My mom says she's not about to filter herself for nobody.
Word.
She is going to say what she thinks, and that's great. But like I tell my mom, not everybody needs to know what you think. Sometimes you need to let them guess,
I
let them
appreciate
wonder.
that. But you know what though? Like when Mama Bear is saying something, if you told me that porridge is good, I'm eating that porridge. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah,
straight up.
but I know everybody don't love me like my mama, so I ain't gonna trust you like my mama.
I appreciate that too, man. But you know what? Look, mamas have open range as far as I'm concerned. They can say whatever they want, when they want, how they want. All right. That's just the beauty of it. Now,
Yeah,
speaking of mamas, I don't know if this is a good segue or not, but Mike Santana, they're holding him up high, man. They're holding him up high in TNA. And it's kind of funny that we're coming back to this because I feel you and I were talking about this before everyone else was on Monday. And everyone's talking about the same thing, TNA and the quality of the programming and everything else. Um, I'm not going to lie, brother, man. I didn't watch TNA this weekend, so I don't know, per se, what's what. But Santana has momentum. The main question right now is who's next for him? Who do you see stepping up to challenge Santana? And maybe that's the problem there. There's no one there really left because they plucked everyone away so fast.
I,
Do they need WWE more than we realize?
well, I think they have the tendency to WWE it. And what I mean by that is they're so conscious of building their top star, they don't realize they need those middle stars to make the top stars look good. I don't care how great of a champion you are. If you don't have great contenders, it falls flat. And that right now I think is one of the issues with TNA. Um, do I think they have enough people to build around? Yes, but one of their unfortunately downfalls is every time they get to building people, they get snatched.
Yeah.
Either WWE or AEW, or they're not offering enough money, and that is unfortunate because and they don't offer too many long-term deals. The way they handle their uh, bookings and way they handle their talent, I think, is a detriment to them because, like you said, I heard they were talking about losing some key people. Santana's contract's coming up in July-ish sometime.
Yeah.
Daria Ray's contract is coming up.
But
Uh,
sorry, but just to come back
Go
to
ahead.
what you were saying earlier, we talk about like these guys are getting poached, these guys are getting picked up by other organizations. And I said this to you on our last episode as well, Bear. Like, is this now do you see the clearer picture of what I was trying to get at? Like in terms of most of these guys and girls are using TNA as a stepping stone to get to the next show. It's not there, like there's no one in TNA, in my opinion, when I look at the list of talent there, that's really a homebred talent anymore. TNA is not creating talent. They're just taking whatever they can and grabbing it and not signing anyone long term because they almost feel they're building their business as a in between, like a double A team for baseball, a single A
Right.
team for baseball, and whoever has the most money for these guys will get up there. So while you were talking, I took the liberty of looking up a list here of potential, candidates that would go up against Mike Santana. One is Nick Nesmith, also known as Dolph Ziggler. I'll be honest, man, that boat for me sailed. Like I'm not excited by him, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I thought he
No,
would be a Miz. I thought he would be someone who would be WWE till the day he decides to retire. I didn't think he'd ever get released. You know what I mean?
right.
But he doesn't pull me in. He doesn't
With
pull me in.
with him, I think the problem is that anytime you see him, what's the first thing you think of when you see him?
Super kick.
It, it's WWE. It's
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he couldn't. Of course, he could be the face of TNA and run TNA, but what good does it do TNA to have a former WWE superstar go and dominate their brand?
Well, maybe that's all they have to kind of cling on to get names out there, because that's what it seems to be happening, Bear. Like everything you said and everything I'm saying, it's we're proving ourselves right, I feel, in some ways when it comes to these characters. Another one
Right.
here, Eddie Edwards and the System, a faction that, routinely targets TNA's baby faces and whatnot. But is Eddie Edwards again another name that would make you go, "Oh crap, I can't wait for Turning Point, Santana versus Eddie."
N-
Um, a third name
My,
here, and I skipped over one because the last one is the one guy that I potentially could see being something there. Okay, but before that, Amazing Red. Now I know him from Ring of Honor. I remember him from there. But in TNA, again, how does that pull me to you? What, and against Mike Santana, it takes two hands to clap. So is it the challengers or is it the champion too? Right? The one guy that I really like on this list, Mustafa Ali. I like Mustafa because I feel he is one guy that's actually gone out there, because Nick's never left too far from the nest, if you think about it.
right.
Okay. He's with companies that are still affiliated with the WWE, right? He didn't go
Right.
to AEW. He didn't go anywhere else. I don't really see him in GCW or any of those other promotions. Like, when I think of people leaving the company, I think of what's her name? The girl with the green hair. Oh,
Shotzi.
thank you, Shotzi. Okay. That girl broke all ties and is out
Right.
there doing what Cody did, what Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona did, and what Drew did to a certain extent. Okay. What Kaylee's doing right now, right?
Yes.
This is how they're going to get back to the system. This is how they get back into the WWE. So what Nick's doing, in my opinion, Dolph Ziggler, is just staying close to the ship.
And
I mean, he
that's
has his
true.
dates and stuff like that, but whenever you see him, he's always in WWE type markets.
Well, and at this point at his career, he's he's the older veteran.
Yeah,
So why would you try to put have him be the leader of your company? And no disrespect. If you hear this, Nick, I clearly love you as a wrestler. You are very
absolutely.
good and taking nothing away from you. But let's be real. It's a young man's sport. And to build up, you need young talent to build up and maintain. Honestly, and I really even hate this is about to come out of my mouth, but I'm just waiting to WWE buys TNA because it just seems that's the end all be all for TNA.
Look, I'll be honest, man. I think they've already bought them. They just haven't said nothing. They haven't made any comments about it. I think it's just one of those kind of things, dude. Honestly, like they're more or less bought. Okay, they're no
Right.
different than Evolve. They're no different than anyone else. You know that partnership doesn't exist anymore if WWE isn't providing production. Okay, the one benefit from all this is their production looks great. All right, all right. I think we should move on to AEW here. Let's talk about this a little bit. Jon Moxley's Death Riders are still dominating, which is weird considering the ebbs and flow that this group has gone through. Like, from pure savagery, like some of the most gruesome, makes me cringe stuff that these guys were doing, to kind of now Is Ospreay a part of the death right? Like, it's just like, are they good guys? Are they bad guys? What are they doing? They're all about honor and this and that. But at the same time, this is the same group that did things with the Phillips screwdriver that shouldn't be done to anybody in real life. But how are these guys still doing it? What do you see?
What I see is something that I don't think a lot of people thought was possible. I think a lot of people just really thought of them as a one-trick pony and did not want to give them the credit of their of Jon Moxley's way of telling stories. Because, like you said, they've been everywhere. They've been the villains. They've been the most vicious. They've did everything and still are popular because I think they put on, if nothing else, when you see it's going to be a Death Rider, you know it's going to be a great match. Whether it be vicious, if it's going to be technical, you know it's going to be a match. Even though you may like, oh my God, not the Death Riders again. And by the end, you're looking around, making sure nobody hears you and say, damn, that was actually pretty good. Did anybody hear me? And and I just think they have more creative ways of doing things and are going outside the box to stay relevant. I think um look, I love what they've been doing, but please, please, please let Jon Moxley get his vacation. He has earned that.
Well, no, I completely agree with you. But when I'm looking at the group, you think, okay, this is it. This is where they break up or something happens, and
Yeah.
Claudio is going to take over. We're finally going to get his push that he's still waiting for. I don't care
Yeah.
how, like, let's be honest, he didn't get this push in WWE, and
Nope.
everyone's saying, oh, look at all the great stuff he's doing in AEW. But you know what? He's still the same guy, just with a different name in a different company. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, he hasn't gotten a push yet. He truly
And
hasn't. That's a
and
guy who
he's
should be
putting
in the
on,
title picture.
yes, and I think he's putting on better matches in
He's always put on
AEW.
great matches, man.
Well, and my point to that is though, that's what's keeping a lot of people settled with where's his push because he does such a great matches. Look, what he went down to CMLL
Yeah.
and did tremendous work, won their championship. So he's been doing this thing. I just again we're biding our time. Like, okay, is he going to get the AEW push? Is he going to get the push that we all been waiting on? Is like you said, the Death Rider is going to explode. It's like, oh crap! It seems like every time we think they're going left, they don't turn.
No, they had a Danny Garcia or something, right? You know
Man,
what I mean?
it's just amazing, and I enjoy everything. And they're the utility players. When you need something from
They're your
somebody,
mechanics.
yes. I mean, look at what they're doing with the Shane Taylor promotions. They look, Shane Taylor is one of those guys who is a great wrestler that is being ignored, but and his team is being ignored, but in ROH they're doing good things. Now they coming over to AEW, and even though they're losing, they look credible.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up Ring of Honor because this is something I wanted to bring up with TNA, and I'm trying to watch Collision on the weekend. It was 2.5 hours long. And a lot of the talent that was there is from Ring of Honor. Okay. Now, I don't get Ring of Honor up here. So I would have to go look for it on YouTube and look for highlights and stuff. But you know what? Ring of Honor, unfortunately, isn't something that circulates through my mind. It's not something that I'm going out looking for because I don't think about it. I know it exists, but it's not prevalent to me. I'm sorry to say that as a wrestling analyst, as a wrestling broadcaster, as a wrestling fan. But when I turn on their show, like they need to do like, okay, Tony, you got contracts. You got TV deals in the UK, you got TV deals in the US with all your other entities. Why isn't Ring of Honor on regular TV where I can watch it and it makes a connection to me when I watch your Saturday program where I've said in the past, most of the cool shit that happens on Saturday, not on Wednesday. Okay. But you give me a whole show. I know who Athena is because I just know Athena, but the rest of these Ring of Honor guys and gals, and God bless them all, they show up on Collision. I don't know who they are, Bear. I just don't.
It
Like I do,
it
but I
is
don't. You know what I mean?
it is so funny because I look at Ring of Honor like TNA. I put them together as far as what they can do and know. I, look, I'm always being truthful. I never watched TNA. It's rare that I watch TNA. I know of the product going on in TNA. They just don't appeal to me.
No, fair play, man.
That's just it.
I try to watch your pay-per-views.
Now, I'm the reverse on Ring of Honor. When their pay-per-views on, I'm going to watch it because I know they're going to put on banger matches.
Sure.
They put on such amazing pay-per-views.
Awesome.
I want them, like you said, I want them to have their own time slot so people can see what great stuff they're doing there. I don't know what Tony Khan's plan is. I just hope they come around soon enough to get them a regular TV slot.
Well,
And
look,
I think what they do will appeal to a lot more people out there.
I look at it this way. If we're gonna make comparisons, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? TNA is to WWE as Ring of Honor is to AEW.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay. So WWE got them sorted with TV deals. That's not something they did on their own. I don't care what anybody says
Oh, of
because in
course not.
Canada, TNA is now broadcasted on WWE's former affiliate here before they joined to Netflix and did all this stuff that they did, right? So
Right,
we don't get WWE for like, okay, granted, we get to see W. So I do get NXT.
right,
Everything else is either YouTube now or Netflix for us in Canada, where you still get Saturday night main event on Peacock in the States,
yes,
right? We don't. We get it on YouTube. We have to watch it on the YouTube channel if we want to. Why isn't AEW doing the same then for Ring of Honor? Like, okay, I used to watch Ring of Honor when it was still just Ring of Honor, and it used to come on a US affiliate at like 11 o'clock at night here.
right.
So I'd watch it
Sinclair
then.
Channel.
Yeah, but we get it on like an ABC affiliate,
Right, right,
right? Like, the local here it would have been Cairo 11. So that was the ABC affiliate that would show that Ring of Honor show before it was, and that's when Eddie Edwards was still there. That's when Kevin Owens was still there. That's when um El Jericho or El Generico, uh,
right, right.
all those guys were there at that time. I believe Adam Pearce was there too at one point.
Okay, so it's around the when who I can't remember the channel that had them here in the States,
Right.
and it was owned
It's like
by
Access
Mark.
TV or something.
Right, right,
Right. But that's how I knew who all these guys were coming up into the other promotions because we had that. Right. So
right.
again, this comes back to this old age question that I think we will be asking time and time again. What does AEW have to do with these other promotions? Like, don't have them on your main shows if nobody knows who they are. That's where people start turning you off.
I th I, I
The
I
casual
think
fan turns you off.
yes, yes, yes. Because I was going to say, I think for us, for viewers like myself who are understand and know so many different products and companies and stuff, I personally get a kick out of it. I love seeing different stars come up because at least with them, with AEW, they are good to make even even if that talents lose, they make them seem strong. It's not AEW driven. Oh, we're gonna beat y'all and y'all gonna look crap. No, back and forth. You see some of the stars from AEW holding other companies' championships, and I like that. It means something to me. Now I get where a casual fan like you're a champion of what? Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. Why you can win there but not in your own? I understand that, but for me as a wrestling fan, I enjoy the different titles being because it shows you can work together. You can have a person from your group hold the title from another company and vice versa. So I'm always open to that.
Okay, and I completely agree with you, but you're talking from the perspective of a fan, like a
Right,
mainstream fan, like an
right.
actual, right? But from the casual fan's perspective, is you're not growing the business though, because you need the casual fan to become your fan, right?
Yes.
Because you and I, like we talked about, like well, we didn't talk about this actually today. I talked about it with my trainer. Before this, I was with my trainer getting sorted out, and she says to me, "How many wrestling T-shirts do you have?" I said, I own none. I have no wrestling outside of these masks that you see behind you and the Iron Sheik sitting in the corner. And probably the only thing that I spent money on is that thing. And I bought that in 2006. That belt's 20 years old, Bear.
Wow.
I bought that in 2006. My dad made me buy it, right?
Nice.
My dad was really sick at the time. And he said to me, buy the belt, buy the belt. I go, dude, it's $460 at that time. He goes, just buy it, just buy it. I'm like, okay, I bought it. And he was so happy to see it. He just wanted to hold it. And, we were talking off air how fast time goes, right?
Yes.
This year marks the 20th anniversary for my dad going going home. So, it's just like so fast, like holy crap, right? And just a lot of my wrestling memories are tied into this belt and the old man, right? So it's just
Right.
kind of funny, like I don't own anything. I don't buy anything wrestling related. The reason I'm saying that because you probably don't do it either that much either anymore, correct?
No, I
Right.
have some stuff,
No, I,
but
I got old figures and stuff. Like, I mean, I've held on to the things that meant something, like my Undertaker
right.
figure. You know what I mean? I don't know why I held
Right.
on to that one. I still have it. It sits downstairs. It's there, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not one of those guys like, God bless Joe Monroe and all those guys, with the multitude and just the volume of memorabilia and toys and stuff, right?
Right.
I don't have it. So that being said, they already have me, but they don't have my money. They need to bring in the casual fan who's still willing to spend the money.
And I think that's and I think and I can't remember who I had this discussion with. Oh, I saw it on Facebook and they were talking about this exact same thing. It's like what is the problem with independent wrestling? Why can't they get the casual fans? And I listened to a lot of different people give their opinion. And the one thing I chimed in when I finally chimed in, I'm like, it's not an independent problem, it's a wrestling problem. I said, because as big as WWE is and AEW, yeah, we have our core fans, but it's to try to bring in the casual fans. That's where all of us struggle at.
Yeah.
And I said, no one has cracked that right now. I said, but eventually it will because there's ebb and flows.
Well, I think if you think about it, AEW and WWE to a certain extent have cracked it because they're still here. They're the two biggest companies. I think the biggest problem in wrestling has to do with the fact that we live in a time and age and we're not that lead generation anymore. Okay. So we're dealing with generations above us now that have short attention spans, that need gratitude and instantaneous, you know, a return instantly. You know what I mean? Nothing is
Right.
cooking anymore. Like back in the day, a good lamb dish would take 3 to 4 hours to cook because you want it to marinate. You want that tenderness, right? So a lot of people, they don't have that attention span anymore. They don't have the ability to, well, let's see what's going on. Now with the indie scene, and this is the hard part, unless you're running shows every week, it's really hard to keep people's attention there. And that's the
Right.
problem with the indies, in my opinion. It's not the lack of the product. It's just from month to, if you're running a show once a month, if I was at your show May 23rd, from May 23rd to June 23rd, so much shit's going on in my life. What what have you done on that one show to make me say, oh shit, I gotta come back and see this again?
Right.
And
Well,
that's the
and see,
problem.
and I would disagree with you on
Sure, please do.
WWE and AEW cracking it because they haven't. It's their same core fans that's why their rating, and we don't talk about rating, but that's why it stays the same. It
No,
doesn't.
we can talk about writing as it
Well,
pertains to
no,
the storyline.
no. What I'm saying though is it's the same. It's the
Mm.
same core fans that
Yeah,
watch it,
fair play.
and they hadn't cracked it either. I think you have a fair point of how now everything they want instantaneously. Now WWE tried. I give them credit. They tried the Speed Championship. That didn't work,
Yeah.
but it was an attempt. And that's what, again, with anything, everything evolves. I think it's going to be a time where wrestling is going to evolve into something that will appeal to the five the 5 minute kid who just sits. Okay, that's 5 minutes, great, got all my enjoyment, I'm done.
Okay, so I have a young girl. We call her Little Miss. Okay. And I can use her as an example. Like, when I say that they've kind of cracked it, they may have not have cracked it with the demographics that we think they should be cracking it with. I think when I say they crack it with the little kids.
Look,
Okay. And from those little kids, hold on. And then
go
let me
ahead.
explain my point before you get there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This is my logic on this. This is my thinking. Okay. I could be wrong, but if I don't share it with you, I don't know. All right.
Right.
And I'd rather share it with you and have you correct me than have some bozo out on the street correct me. Okay. So this is the way I look at it. When you're a little kid, everyone loves wrestling, right? Now, out of those 10 little kids, 7 will go to the next level. Out of those 7, 5 will become us. That's the hope. That's the goal. That's how they
Yeah.
build their fan base. Okay. How do 250-year-old dudes still love wrestling? Well, they got us when we were 5 and we never ran away. That's the angle that I'm trying to bring to it. Now, how do kids consume wrestling today? We're the fucking guys who sit and watch the whole show.
Yep.
Okay. I work all weekend, Bear. You know this. I'm gone for 72 hours at a shot. So when I come home on Monday morning, my little girl is so happy to see me. And we talk about wrestling as we walk to school. You know what she's doing? She's sending me whose birthday it is. Like, I feel ashamed that I don't know some of this stuff. Like, happy birthday, Mark Henry, this weekend. I didn't know, but only because she sends me these little things now. She loves it. How does she consume wrestling? And how do most kids consume wrestling? I say, hey, Raw's starting. Okay, I'll just watch it later. I go, no, you won't. What does she do? She watches it the next morning on YouTube on shorts. She consumes all the wrestling that way. So we're the only ones watching it.
Yeah.
The kids are consuming it too, but they consume it their own way, which is the highlights, which is the quick rundown, which is the segments that they want to see. They're not watching it bookend to bookend like we do, the way we were raised to.
Well, because they're not interested in um, all the different aspects of it as we are.
Right, but they
And
haven't evolved to that yet.
right. And on top of that, it's it's not that the kids are consuming it in that way. It's because 9 times out of 10, kids get into it because their parents are into it, or their uncle. It's some family members that are into wrestling that they want to hang out with whoever it is. They start to get into it.
Brother,
And,
I go to family functions and now I'm at that age where I'm supposed to sit on the couch with the uncles and drink scotch and talk politics. All right. All the
right,
other husbands are doing it. I'm that one husband at the family function who goes downstairs and plays with the kids.
hey, I, I feel you.
And all the other men are like, "Oh, don't you like our company?" I go, "I just don't like your politics." Again,
um,
this is where I get in trouble because I just say what needs to be said.
well, see, and my thing is, I can be around anyone. My wife tells me this all the time that I have a unique thing about myself
Disposition that
where
you,
I can fit in anywhere. No matter we talk politics, we talk sports,
yeah,
we talk whatever.
yeah.
And I'm a big kid at heart. So I love cartoons. And I can easily get involved with the kids and have them feel comfortable and enjoy
Same here,
themselves.
brother, man. That's what I am. I'm that guy.
Yeah. So I sit and look at a lot of things like with my nephews.
Yeah,
They're big wrestling fans.
sweet.
And they got into it because Unc got into it. And they know stuff. They follow wrestling. Well, they're older now. They're adults. They're doing things. They don't keep up with wrestling like that anymore. But when they do, who they call? Hey, Unc, man,
Yep,
such, blah, blah, blah. And we just have a good conversation.
absolutely.
That's where I think it's one of those things. And I think it's one of those things that TKO, the Endeavor TKO, I'm not talking about WWE, I'm talking TKO with this. They do not realize if they don't calm down and keep it priced for the family, they're going to burn it out
Well, I think we
and they're
saw
going
that
to
with
lose much
WrestleMania.
more
We
people.
we saw that with WrestleMania. Okay, but the
Yes,
stupid part of that is who's going to book a flight a week before?
exactly.
It's too
And
expensive, right?
and
I think
everybody,
they're
look,
learning. I think they're learning. But like I said, I think it doesn't matter what sport it is. Okay, boxing, wrestling, MMA. Okay, the grassroots fans are the kids. Okay, granted, MMA started in '93, so I was graduating that year. So I was already, I guess you could say I was an adult, maybe. I mean, like late teens. But I mean, for the most part, your fan base are the kids. And like I said, if you break it down the way I broke it down, I believe that's pretty close to how it works in terms of getting your main fans. Now, the casual fans, the money fans, as I like to call them, some of them will come at an older age. Some come back. Some are reborn wrestling fans, like reborn Christians and reborn spirituality.
all
Some
right,
become reborn again, right? But a lot of it is like I said, you got 10 kids, seven, maybe five, and then three of them out of this 10 become us,
right.
right? So that's the way I kind of look at it. Like, I mean, but again, to that point, I feel that AEW needs to do a better job as we tie it all up here with AEW, needs to do a better job of putting out more information to keep people engaged and wanting to come back. And they're not doing that. They don't do it enough. Now, one more thing about TNA before or AEW before we leave. Do we really need Mark Briscoe MJF feud again?
I didn't think I did, but hell yes, we need it.
Well,
And
how come?
and here's the
I don't.
thing.
I don't. Me personally, I don't.
Here's the thing
Hmm.
that for me that made me know I wanted this. Briscoe had a damn near 10-minute promo that drew me in
Fair
and
play.
made me give a damn about it.
Fair enough.
And I'm like, wow, this is such a good move because now there you can still have them feud. He's trying to win a chance to get to the title match. It's fun. I think it's creative.
Sure.
It's not the same boring. Okay, you got to win this contendership to get to this. It's something different, and I'm about it. It
Okay.
gives a chance of other feuds and other things to be above the world title match.
Okay. I appreciate that. Now, I don't need it because of these reasons personally. Okay. We've already seen it. I get it. Everything that MJF is doing right now is a placeholder till he gets to London against Ospreay. Spoiler alert, maybe, but I think that's the direction we're going to go here. Okay. Ospreay's going to win that tournament and he challenges MJF there in London. The feel good story.
Oh yeah.
That being said, what about giving this opportunity? If we're doing this type of feud, we've already seen it with Briscoe. Why aren't we giving it to someone else who could use that stage? Briscoe doesn't need a title. He's that guy. Like, and when I think of Briscoe, I think Briscoe, R-Truth, Eddie Kingston, and there's a couple other guys that I haven't put on that list that don't need titles, that don't need anything. This their presence alone, just the way they carry themselves, just the way they communicate, cut promos. This is what I'm talking about. This is where I feel like give someone else an opportunity to have a feud. Because what Darby Allin did was cool. They gave people opportunities, but it was a shotgun. It was a gauntlet match. You didn't get to know any of these guys per se. I walked
Right.
away from there like, okay, well, who's who? And I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm not saying this is the case, but just to say it, well, who's Mike Speedball? Okay, who's Kevin Knight? Who's this guy? Right? Like, why are they getting title shots? And that's what people were talking about. They're putting effort into this feud on a guy that's
Right.
already established. So if you're gonna do
Well,
that from a writer's storyline perspective, and I don't know who that person is. I don't have a name. But why not Claudio? Claudio
so
would be a great guy just to have as a placeholder until that happens, if that was the case.
so I look at Briscoe like I looked at Mick Foley.
Yeah.
It's the good feel story. If Briscoe turned around and won it, it would be like, wow, never in a million years would I thought Briscoe could have got the AEW title.
No, it's not supposed to happen. That's what makes it
Right,
so beautiful.
right. So okay, and then and like we pretty much know, it's going to be Ospreay moment, unless they throw a swerve on us that we didn't see coming. It's going to be Ospreay moment. So you
The
won't.
only the only swerve that I could see coming from that is the Death Riders involvement somehow.
Or yeah, that.
Because
Or what happens if Swerve screws around and wins this? That would throw. And these are different scenarios that easily could happen and change the trajectory of this. Because again, and we've said this so many times before, it is more fun to be wrong with a sharp move than to be able to say ABC is going to happen, then ABC happened.
no, 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 100% agree with you. But if you put it on Briscoe, in my opinion, then you're taking away from him because he's going to lose it that fast as he got it. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I know it feels good, but then what's the
well, I was
story
gonna
going to be
say,
after that? Oh, you didn't even give him a proper chance. Oh, you didn't get, you didn't do this with him.
well,
Well,
I look at it like this, and I'm gonna go backwards. And no disrespect for this person, I actually got to meet him. Very cool person, love him to death. But who in the hell was Tommy Rich to win the NWA World Title for 2 weeks?
no, no, I get it, brother. I get it. I
And
get it.
yeah, no, and I know you get it, and I know you understand where I'm coming from
Hmm.
with it. But there in wrestling, there is always that person
Hmm.
that you never expected to go past a certain level,
Hmm.
and they did it. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like putting some of your favorite athletes up against that person, and you have every reason why this other person legitimately is much better, should have been, could have carried the title more, could have did so much more for the business, but that person still gets it. And I think that's that part of wrestling that is that will always be there and needs to be there because again, you know I'm a big Arn Anderson man.
I do now.
So big Arn guy. I felt like Orange should have got at least some kind of world title run. But not every person is due with the big belt. Sometimes some of your best people have never been a world champion.
No, 100%. Well, I mean, the list. Let's look at the old school list there. Mr.
But
Perfect, Rick
Jake,
Rude,
what
um,
Jake the Snake,
Jake the Snake,
uh,
Roddy Piper.
Piper, and see, and then we go into another big discussion. What is a world title? Because I could argue Rick Rude was a world heavyweight champion. He was
Sure.
one in WCW, and he was their first world class world champion. But that's a whole different.
No, I guess at that point when we're looking at the stages that these guys are competing on and being champions of, right? I mean,
Right,
there's a
right.
tons of world champions out there. Yeah, they're all world champions in their own right, but they didn't win the one that mattered the most, right?
The the
Right?
ones
Like,
that we as hardcore fans justify
yeah,
as world champ,
you could be USFL champion,
but you wouldn't the
NFL
national
champion,
exactly.
right? You could like I'm just trying to break it down as best as I can. You can be in America in hockey. You could be a Calder Cup champion, which is the league, well, which is the feeder league to the NHL, which is a great accomplishment in but you're not a Stanley Cup champion. Shout out
Right.
to the Carolina Hurricanes on winning the cup last night. Wow, that's
Oh,
another story.
hey, if we're gonna say that, you got to talk about the Knicks.
I'll
And
tell
I
you
have
what,
to
man.
mention this
I
real quick. I
The only
have to
reason
mention this really
mention it.
quick.
Go ahead, go for it.
The Knicks won the championship. The last time they won the championship was the year I was born.
73.
73.
Hey, okay,
So
look, I'm a Cubs fan, so I get it. All right. I totally understand. NBA and Sam have a love-hate relationship
understand it.
because I had the Grizzlies here in Vancouver. Now I understand the Grizzlies were given to us because they wanted the Raptors in Toronto. And the way that deal worked out was, well, we'll give you Toronto, but you got to put a team there. And they set our team up to fail miserably from day one by giving us Stu Jackson as our general manager. Okay. And with no disrespect, our number one pick was Big Country Bryant Reeves for $66 million. Okay. Whereas on the other side, they got Vince Carter, they got Tracy McGrady. The list goes on and on and on. When Stromile Swift was drafted to the Vancouver Grizzlies, he cried, not for happiness because he was sad. Okay.
Hey, I get it.
But we sold out every game. as a fan base, we did everything we were supposed to. And then the team was gone. So I'm like, all right,
Hey,
I get it. But because of
hey,
that team, I got to meet Shaq. I got to meet Kobe at the local scenes. And this is back in the 90s where you still had access to these guys.
I was about to say that sounds like St. Louis. Their fan base for football, they went up and beyond, and they still got their football team stolen from
Okay,
them.
but
So
let me, I got one
I
more. So I'm like,
understand.
okay, fair enough. All right. Because before the Grizzlies, I was a Supersonic fan.
Right.
All right. Kemp, you name it, all these guys. And that
Oh,
final year that they were there, you know who they drafted? The two last years that they were there?
who?
Kevin Durant and the other guy that played for Oklahoma City for a while there. What's his? I can't remember his name, but both those guys were just huge players now today. And we lost to Supersonics. So I said, you know what? Screw you, NBA. You took two teams
Understand.
away, right? I'm done. But I like college ball. I do like college ball. Listen, Bear, we've been talking and talking and talking. We got to really get to this rest of the show here.
Yes.
WWE, the WWE, our crown jewel, our favorite show to hate and love. It's like a relationship that, you hate to love her, but you love to hate her too.
Oh yeah.
You know, the bloodline. Is it running WWE again? Because all the storylines, like all the top good storylines, seem to be intertwined between the two programs, between Raw and SmackDown. Something we talked about last week. I think people are listening to us because we're seeing a lot more intertwining of these programs.
Yeah.
People were so happy about the bloodline coming back and Roman coming back, but these same people are now complaining 2 weeks later. Oh, it's too much again. Oh, it's too much again. What do people want, man? I don't get it. But interesting how Jacob is being used right now. Your
I,
thoughts?
personally, I like it. I like because it gives a different side of Jacob. Um, it, it helps to pause him, to not oversaturate him, because once he gets that that run again, he's going to be awesome. I think, and it could be Jacob in the long run is playing the long game against Roman.
Well, I'm thinking it has to be a lot of different things here because if we're looking at the story, you got Roman calling the shots. Okay. He sends Jacob over to SmackDown to talk, send the message, everything, blah, blah, blah. He does that. He doesn't run the interference like Jey wanted him to. So you got one story right there, Jacob and Jey. Okay.
Yep.
You got one story right there. The other story that I found really interesting as well is how Solo still speaking truth, man. Straight truth. You can't argue with anything he's saying in his promos. Everything is right. Everything he said to Jacob was right. The interaction that I was looking for, which I found interesting, it didn't happen, was Jacob and Royce. We didn't see that.
I think it. I think they were trying to save that because that is going to be another layer, and
I think it's a
I
total layer because you see what Solo's doing with Royce already,
yes,
right? So, which is why I'm wondering, okay, how is this playing out? Like, where are we going here? Because you got Roman's story, who doesn't have a challenger right now.
right.
So I'm curious to see what happens on Raw with Roman now. Like, okay, what's the next story you're going for? Because you've already planted seeds for 4 different stories here with this bloodline. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out.
I uh, part of the another bloodline story part. I was shocked that L.A. Knight lost. I honestly was.
Well, when I look at the king and the queen of the ring, I love the concept, but this is, like we said, this is the opportunity to give mid card talent the opportunities that they deserve. Okay, so I don't have a problem with LA Knight winning. I have a problem with Jey Uso winning because I don't need to see that again. Okay, you can run stories in a different way, But again, this all ties into the bloodline. You go win that title, says Roman. You become the man on that side. So what does that mean? If he wins the title over there, is Roman going to do Roman and say, okay, give me the belt? I'll hold it for you.
I, I think that it's more of to show, hey, I can share with you. I don't have to be the man as long as our family is the man.
But that's
If
what he's
we
showing
control
right
it,
now. But will he get greedy once he sees the gold? See, that's just as us writing. This is us just brainstorming how this can go.
exactly.
Right now, when I look at the four that are left, okay, Javon Evans against Jey, and I believe it's going to be Dominic winning over Oba tonight. Okay, because Brock's going to come back and run Ruckshot. That's the only way he can win. There's no other way he can
Oh
beat
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, in terms of storylines, okay,
Right.
right? We already saw what happened when JD tried to help. It didn't work. Okay, so I have no problem with three of the names in there because all three of those guys would be good. But there's something like King and Queen of the Ring benefit a heel more than a face. Who runs better with it, a heel or a face? In my opinion, I think the heel does a better job with the King and Queen. Personally,
I think
show
that
me any face that's won it that's actually had a good run with it. They usually just leave
well,
it afterwards.
well, that's what I was gonna say. To me, it doesn't matter because they've made it not worth anything. It's just a title.
Well, you get a
You
shot at SummerSlam now, right? The winner of the
well,
King of the Ring.
yeah, and yeah,
No, no,
but
I
I
get it,
would
I
have
get it. But forget all that. Just
okay.
a heel King of the Ring is better than a face heel face king. Because the heel will still run around with the gimmick for a while, then use it, aka Booker T, King Harley Race, King fought what's his name? Ming.
Yeah,
Right? When he was king, Haku.
yep.
All the heels run with it and use it as their gimmick. Trick Williams as King of the Ring would be amazing. Most of the faces that win it, when Bret Hart won it, did he ever walk around with the cape and the crown? No.
Nope.
They just won the tournament and they moved on. Owen paraded around with that stuff.
Yeah,
Right. So I think a King Dominic would be absolutely amazing.
I
Dominic
know.
against Roman at SummerSlam? Why not? Why not? The promos themselves would be hilarious. The buildup would be amazing.
I,
Dominic is so arrogant and just so full of himself. I am the true luchador. Look at me with my title, right? You know what I mean? Going against Roman. Okay, you can already see the interaction. Tell
I
me that's not
could,
a
but
better story for SummerSlam.
I could, but here's the kick to me. As much as I love Dominic, I wouldn't want to see him in Roman. It no, I just could it wouldn't excite me. It
I think
wouldn't make
I
me
think
want to watch that.
I think Roman Oba would have been great for SummerSlam, but if Brock didn't come back, right, the way he has and whatnot, that just kind of takes that away a little bit. And I think they
Well,
planted the seeds at WrestleMania when Roman said, "Hey, I'm here for the whole summer, so let's see what you do over the summer and we'll talk," which was
well,
the seed planting for that.
here's something that I think we hadn't thought of because we all say, okay, well, Brock is going to cost over the King of the Ring, but what if he don't? What if Brock
And if he
doesn't?
doesn't, he doesn't.
And what if it goes Roman and Oba, and Oba wins the championship,
Yeah,
and then that's when Brock comes back and says he's ready for round three,
yeah, no,
and
that's potentially there
and,
too. The other
and
scenario,
then he tells them the only way you get a title shot is put your career up.
no, no, 100%. The other angle that we can look at here, and we're going back to the two semifinals. Oba wins. Okay, like you said, but Jey wins on the other side.
It's,
Okay, and
yes,
Oba beats him so bad,
that Roman.
has to deal with it then.
Yes,
That's the other way that I see this can happen. But you know what? This is why we watch the program, Bear. This is why we will tune
yes, it
in
is.
at 5 Pacific, 8 Central, or 8 Eastern, depending where you are in the world, right? On Netflix. This is why we're going to tune in. Listen, is there anything else, WWE, or anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap it up here? Because Mama T and the Marks are warming up.
I heard one quick thing.
Yeah.
Again, what the hell are the titles worth? I mean, it is amazing that they are doing the women titles like they are. Come on, let
Okay,
them have
expand. I'm
matches.
confused. What do you, fill me in? Where are we going?
I'm talking about Liv Morgan hadn't defended title since she won it.
No, she has not.
Uh, Tiffany Stratton, she needs to defend it.
Hmm.
They just need to do more. They're doing nothing with these women with titles, and it's starting to irk me. Uh,
No,
I,
I appreciate that. I think they're covering it up by the fact that Liv is on TV, that she did win her qualifying match to the next round. I get it. I hear what you're saying. I hear you completely, Bear. I'm trying to find something
to
positive to say,
justify it. I
right?
got you.
Right? You know, I'm trying. I'm really trying. In terms of Tiffany Stratton, when I look at her, this girl had a rocket strapped to her. Now she feels like she's in wrestling purgatory, trying to figure out where she's supposed to go next. Unfortunately,
Yes.
Chelsea Green's been stripped of everyone, so she's trying to find her way. I think Chelsea deserves a push in the worst way. Not that she hasn't gotten it, but she hasn't gotten a fair push, right? I think
Right.
we got Julia's storyline, which is kind of interesting with Kiana James. How's that going to play out? Um, I'm curious to see what's going to happen here with Rhea. At what point does Charlotte say "fuck it"? You know, like I mean, and when you look at
Well,
the other side, when you look at the other side here, you got Io versus who in one semifinal, and you got or Raquel, Io and Raquel
yeah,
in one, and Liv and
Charlotte.
Charlotte in the other one. All right, I mean,
I think Charlotte's going to win it.
I think Io wins it,
The reason I say I think Charlotte has did damn near everything else. She's already
but she's being
goes
queen.
with Queen moniker.
But she's
Why
being
not let
queen
her
of the
win
ring,
the
hasn't
Queen of
she?
the Ring? Hmm?
She's already won the Queen of the Ring before, hasn't she?
No,
Or she
she never
hasn't. She
had.
just calls herself the Queen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So why
Um,
not? Well, it's two things. One, let her win it. Two, it gives her a singles title match that we hadn't seen in a while. As people are kind of would be drawn to it, and her and Rhea again will draw money.
no, they would totally draw money. I mean, I still stand by the fact that was probably the best night of WrestleMania 39 night one was that match. I don't care. I'll stand by that. You know, that was my favorite match of the of night one of 39. Um, talk is Io right now. That's what I'm hearing through the rumor mills and people speculating. There's just they here's the one thing I'll say. They have laid foundations for so many angles to come out of this because Raquel's still involved.
Yep,
Okay. And then you have Roxanne saying, yeah, I'm all about the team, but her eyes tell a different story.
yep,
So I'm curious to see what the goal is here with this. Do we get a triple threat match between all three of those girls, Roxanne, Raquel, and Liv? Are they waiting to see where Stephanie Vaquer is? Is she ready to come back? We haven't seen her since Mania, right? And yeah, she
right.
hasn't defended the title at all, but she wants to win it all. She wants the Queen of the Ring. She wants to do that. Maybe we get a unification match between Rhea and Liv. I know you're shaking your head, but we're just looking at all the different
No,
angles here,
no,
right?
I wasn't shaking my head. What it was I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like, okay, look, tonight Raquel loses because Liv or Roxanne interfere indirectly to cost her the match.
right,
We have that angle, which leads me to think that they're building up some sort of segment here with these girls. Okay, it's there. We're just waiting for the shoe to drop. Really,
right, really.
something's got to give. One of these two girls, not Liv, is going to go on a face run.
Yeah, they've got to. They need to go ahead and put a bullet in Judgment Day. It's been time.
It's ironically enough because we talk about the Death Riders and we love them, but we can't stand the Judgment Day.
Hey, same thing. It's like as soon as you think they done with them, they about to put them to bed. Something else carries them another 6 months.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They keep doing something, right? Like this brings them back to life again. Like, oh shit! Like,
Yeah,
okay, I thought this was it. How many times have we sat and talked on different shows and different podcasts that we do about that? But listen, okay, so we got Monday Night Raw coming up here in a few hours. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune into all of that. I think we kind of covered everything that's kind of happening in the ring of professional wrestling. And I'll be honest, man, this is refreshing. This is fun just to talk about the show.
yeah. It is. It's one of those things that I didn't know I needed, but I definitely did. I enjoy just focusing on the shows and not the politics behind the scenes.
No, and then I think that's what's going to just get better and better as we go along here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I hear you. All right, so Mama T's telling me they got to go here. So I am the Samp. He is
Professor,
the professor of all things wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Professor and the Samp. Usually your Monday morning, but I'll be honest, man, I messed up. I own it. I own it. We'll blame this wire. Okay. This wire, I love you, wire, but this wire right here was the demise for our earlier session when we were supposed to get this, but we're figuring it out. We're getting there. We're getting better and better. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor and the Samp, every Monday, your storyline show. The show that's going to talk about what's happening in the ring, not outside of the ring, because it's just too much outside of the ring, and I can't be bothered anymore, man. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your week. Be good to each other. Be strong. Believe in yourselves. Believe in your aspirations. Believe in your dreams. Anyone who tells you differently is because they're too afraid to live their own dream, and they're too afraid to see anyone else become successful. Professor and the Samp are out.
They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. One's a historian, the other loves to chant. They talk about the fights, all the slams and lights. It's wrestling mayhem day and night. They're Professor and the Samp, yes, Professor and the Samp. Their takes are quite insane, the wrestling world's their game. They break it down, they call it